going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We got to talk about Alberta Independence because, boy, it was the talk of the town inside the Red Deer Alberta Next panel, the premier panel of many panels that the Premier of Alberta, I know we're putting Premier in there a lot, the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith, was at, is alongside other MLAs like Rebecca Schultz to talk about, essentially, the questions of Albertans. This is a panel decided to sit down and hear the grievances of Albertans, to hear what Albertans want their government to do, to take kind of a an open forum, if you will, so that the government has a better understanding of what their constituents want, what they expect of them. I think it's fantastic. A lot of people have pointed towards it saying it's nothing more than a stall tactic. We're not going to get anything out of this. I think what this is doing is it's reading the room for a lot of our MLAs and the Premier to understand this is what our next mandate needs to be. This is the expectation of our voters. If they want to hold on to their position within the legislature, they're going to have to listen. It's something that the federal government doesn't do very often. But I want to highlight, if you are in Alberta, if you do want to go to one of these next panels, you can over to alberta.ca/next. It'll bring you to the Alberta Next page. As you can see, Sherwood Park, Edmonton was yesterday. So the next one coming up is in Edmonton, in fact, August 14th, and then Fort McMurray on the 26th, Lloydminster on the 27th, and then they're doing a whole bunch in September. As you can see now, at the time of filming this video, it's still the 16th of August, so you could still potentially register for the Sherwood Park one. That's what it'll look like when it comes time. You can register 2 weeks prior to an event. So as of August 1st, you can come over to this page to register for the Edmonton event and so forth. There's a lot of Alberta Next stuff I got to talk about. In this video, we got to focus on the big elephant in the room, the main event, Alberta Independence, because a lot happened. Now, I see a lot of the time people are telling me that, hey, you guys just don't have the numbers. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get independence in Alberta. I keep saying hogwash. Of course we're going to get it. It's just a matter of time. The numbers are consistently growing. Remember, I showed a poll last week stating that roughly 48% of Albertans that were asked about independence are ready to vote to leave. However, another poll came out saying that 78% of UCP voters, which is the majority of our province, supports getting a question on a referendum ballot in order to leave. So these are UCP voters that have identified themselves willing to go. So that's the big one. The UCP voters, the UCP government is currently in power. They get the majority of the votes anyways. That's what's important when you look at by-elections. People say, well, Cam Davies came in third. The voice for separation isn't that strong. That's all malarkey. It's not to use Joe Biden terms there, but the UCP vote one is the one that's critical. It shows that there's strong backing for it. And anybody who didn't believe it, here we go with Danielle showing Alberta's future is in your hands. Tonight at the Alberta Next panel, we're talking about big ideas like provincial policing, pension reform, and protecting our rights from federal overreach. Now, this was the topic of discussion. Again, look, they live streamed the whole event, folks. I think it's fantastic. Again, I'm going to be breaking down a lot of good talking points over the next few videos on this Alberta Next panel and what people can expect. Now, I sat on this channel before the panel and said, if you're in the area, if you're able to go to these panels, you should sign up, you should go, you should make sure your voice is heard. These rooms are packed, folks. This isn't just a sit down about Alberta independence. This is your chance to talk to the Premier. This is your chance to talk to elected MLAs, to tell them, this is how we feel, this is what we want. And for anybody who ever doubted that there wasn't a push in Alberta for independence, those naysayers better start shaking in their boots, because the threat is a lot more serious than you'd think. Again, this is Red Deer. So this is central Alberta. This is close to where Cam Davies had run, where people said, well, there's just no support. Take a listen to this packed room when this gentleman brings up a fine point about Danielle Smith's ultimatum to the incoming Prime Minister before Mark Carney was actually given a mandate. Take a listen to this.
That's it. Thank you. Okay, we're going to allow one more question on this topic. We're going to roll to the next video. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Corwin Wilwork, and I'm from the Stettler area. Your video said it's Ottawa continues or has ignored us and will continue to ignore us. It doesn't matter what we do here tonight or what the outcome of this is. They will continue to ignore us. There's one question only, that needs to be on a referendum, and that is, do you support Alberta exiting Canadian Confederation and becoming a sovereign nation? At that point, then you'll be able to negotiate with Ottawa. Then you'll be able to negotiate with Quebec. Without that, they will continue to ignore us. If they do not know that we are serious and we can leave at any point in time, we will not ever get a pipeline to the Atlantic Ocean. It is time to put the separation question on a ballot so that Alberta people can decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just about everybody in that room clapping. And as you can see, like even from the camera angle of this room, it is full. There isn't an empty seat in this joint. Central Alberta. The rural Albertans are pissed. And you do have support in cities. And this is where I keep telling people the rural vote is going to accumulate roughly the majority of the vote that's needed for Alberta independence. You're probably only going to need about 100,000 to 200,000 people tops between Edmonton and Calgary in order to get a sufficient number for a yes vote on independence. People have had enough of Ottawa. This isn't about a flag. I keep saying it. I know I sound like a broken record, but I keep trying to drive this into people. It's not that Alberta's better than other provinces. It's not that we're traitors to our country or that we're just interested in money. What this has to do with how the province is treated by the federal government. This province has been ignored, smeared, dragged through the mud. When you go back as far as the National Energy Program back in the 80s, Alberta was manipulated. It was siphoned out of its wealth by Justin Trudeau or Pierre Trudeau Sr. Albertans have had enough. And it's no longer just a quiet little discussion. This is the same, this meeting, I feel, when you see the resounding applause from all the individuals in there, and you see the emotional tension in that room, as these MLAs and the Premier have to sit and listen to this. One message is becoming very clear. It's very akin to the Freedom Convoy. When you remember everybody saying there's a convoy going to Ottawa, Justin Trudeau stood up and said it's just a small fringe minority with unacceptable views. And then everybody's jaws dropped as soon as those trucks showed up on Ottawa streets. This is the same thing forming here. You've got people going, Albertans are just mad. They're just kicking up dust. They don't have the numbers to produce an actual referendum. They're never going to get a yes vote on a ballot. I'm telling you right now, anybody who's second-guessed this should be shaking in their boots. All the naysayers should start realizing the idea of Alberta independence is very real. I can tell you as somebody who lives in rural Alberta now, I haven't heard a single person saying that they're ready to stay. They don't see any benefit from the federal government. Now, if you thought that was bad enough, Jeffrey Rath, good old Jeff Rath, showed up at the Alberta Next panel. I hope he goes to all of them. He quotes here that the fiscal plan for an independent Alberta, the value of freedom, shows we are way better off outside of Canada than in it. Danielle Smith saying that her main reason to remain in Canada is that it will be easier to get a new pipeline just doesn't cut it. And he's absolutely correct. Now you can see the Rise of Alberta down here. Fantastic account, by the way. I follow both Jeff Rath and Rise of Alberta over on X. As they say here, Jeff Rath showed up at the Alberta Next panel and told them what needs to be said. Do we keep begging Ottawa to fix an unamendable Constitution? Now, keep in mind, there's no answer to Jeff's question outright. This was simply an opportunity for people to air their grievances, to say what needed to be said. And it was usually, by the way that the stream was set up, it was as they were closing down on one subject and segueing into another, meaning going from pension plan into independence, etc. But let's listen to what Jeff has to say because it really paints a picture in the room.
But go ahead.
My name's Jeffrey Rath. I'm from Foothills, Alberta. So, Premier, the first thing I wanted to say, with the greatest of respect, when you say there's no legal mechanism to stop sending taxes to Ottawa and collecting 100% of the taxes in Alberta, with the greatest of respect, you're incorrect. The legal mechanism is Section 1, Sub 3 of the Clarity Act, and that's voting Alberta the hell out of Canada on a clear question.
Thank you, Jeff.
Now, and then my last point on that is simply, on a moving forward basis, I'd like to see a straw poll in this room, and that's one, not do we want to spend another 5 or 10 years bashing our heads against an unamendable constitution versus how many people in this room want a clear vote on independence within the next 12 months.
Okay.
So thank you.
But go ahead.
So again, that gets cut off, but there was absolute applause after Jeff sat down. People are ready to go. And what he's pointing out to Danielle Smith, a lot of people think Jeff Rath has a problem with Danielle Smith because he mentions Danielle, he critiques Danielle a lot. The APP, including Jeff Rath, have said many times, they want to work with the UCP. They just want the representation that's due. They want the Premier to start getting a little bit, they understand, and I understand, you, the viewer, understands Danielle can't outright say, all right, that's it, we support independence. But what he's saying is we need a little bit more pushback toward the federal government from Danielle to show that Alberta actually is fed up instead of always talking about uniting Canada. I understand that's her mandate. You guys understand that's her mandate. I don't want to insult your intelligence. But what Jeff Rath has always said is that there has to come a point where we say, all right, we gave you guys time. You're ignoring us still. You're not doing anything about it. We have to show a backbone like they did in the 1980s against the National Energy Program. Now, that being said, you can see down here Ron Voss saying, although her pal Bruce McAllister as chair said he would allow around 45 seconds, after 28 seconds he was trying to shut you down. Thank you, Jeff. He said he obviously doesn't like me. I mean, this is... and this is where I wanted to touch on it, because you see this a lot. Thank you, Jeff. Danielle's lying to us. And here's the truth. She's only concerned about her personal gains. I don't believe that. If Danielle Smith was only concerned about her personal gains, she wouldn't have lowered the threshold to make it much simpler for Albertans to get their referendum questions on a ballot. She wouldn't have allowed for the discussion of independence in Alberta. She would have done everything to block it and stop it. If Danielle truly wanted to fight for a united Canada and shut things down on the sovereignty talk, she would have done it ages ago. Danielle Smith is aiding Albertans, at least until she shows me a significant reason that she's not. I am going to stand behind Danielle and say that I think she's doing what's best for Albertans. She's waiting for her pivotal moment for when she's given a mandate from a citizen-led initiative to say it's time to get out. The point of this video, folks, is to show you that independence and the move for independence, despite what the strawmanned paid shill prostitutes of the federal government will tell you, what the idiot box will tell you, that there is no voice for independence in Alberta, that there's Canadian flags on everybody's lawns. No, there isn't. Those flags are being replaced with Albertan flags. People have had enough. The voice in Alberta is strong. It's time to go. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think the rest of these panels are going to be quiet when it comes to a voice on independence? Or do you think that Jeff Rath showing up was a one and done? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Don't forget to hit that bell. Turn it on for all notifications so that you never miss a beat whenever a video drops here on the channel. Join me live each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our weekly live streaming show where I'm joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we go over everything that happened this week in Canadian politics, everything that happened or is happening that we know that's coming up ahead, as well as your Q&A within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I always look forward to chatting with you guys outside of making these videos each and every week, but I most importantly look forward to chatting with you this Friday night starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.